I'm not gonna lie, this is giving Da Vinci, Picasso. Come on.
Girl, are you done yet? This is taking longer than it's taking me to drop some new music.
Girl, relax, I'm coming. Hold on. Okay, come see. Come see.
Oh, what the? Okay, cute. You ate that.
How some non-black women's self-esteem is really tied to feeling better than black women. And I want to highlight how Huda's relationship with Shelly and Alandria, I think, speaks to a lot of our experiences with non-black women. And, you know, this is not just exclusive to black women. This could be for exoticals. This could be for black exoticals. Any type of woman from our community. It doesn't matter who you are. At some point in your life, you have or will experience a Huda. You will experience someone like her who wants to be adjacent to the community for aesthetic reasons and aesthetic purposes, for superficial reasons, for purposes of getting D, and they will harm the people around them if it means that they can get next to some black. So I want to discuss how Huda's relationship with Shelly and Alandria really does trigger me, because I've spoke about this on this channel where I've had many experiences with white women, white Hispanic women, where I have dealt with the same nonsense, where they act like they like you, they act like they want to be friends with you, they act like you guys are so cool and have all these things in common, when in reality she is just close to you to study you and to measure her life up to yours. I had a friend in college, and she was white and Hispanic. And I remember she came to my college and she was a year under me. And I remember she clung to me when she got to my school. And I told this story before. I told little bits and pieces. But the part I want to really touch on is how she clung onto me and studied me and tried to figure out the type of men I was into and the type of guys that were into me. She studied and watched closely as to how I was sought after by a lot of the black men at my school. She watched how closely a lot of black men in the community at my school and even off campus were drawn to me, and the things that they said about me, and how they basically like coveted me or lusted after me or wanted me. And this is what these women do. They will come around you to see what makes you you. You know, what makes this exotical so attractive to these black men? What makes this black woman so desirable or so beautiful and desirable to these men that they want access to, or that they see as cool or exciting? And they come around us to study what makes us so desirable. And then what they do is, to make themselves feel better and to make themselves feel adjacent to our women and to the women in our community, whether you're an exotical or whatever, they will begin to try to embody who you are. And this is what happened with me and this girl. She clung to me. She wanted to do everything with me. She wanted to know all my business. She basically enmeshed herself in my life, pretended to be my friend, played a role for 3 years, all to find out that she was having sex with the guys who were interested in me first. And when I tell you, ladies, I have stories for days about non-black women who have befriended me for their weird, selfish reasons, for reasons to be able to gain proximity to blackness, to be able to study me because they were jealous of me or because they were threatened by me. Like, the stories I have for you would blow your mind. To make a long story short, this girl
weren't looking at you. Is that bullying, stating a fact that she was not looking at you? But here's the thing that gets me. And I've seen a couple of creators talk about why, I've seen a lot of creators talk about why black people, we prefer to not be lumped into POC, like people of color, or BIPOC, like black and indigenous. The black experience is very, very specific. And Huda exemplifies this, because as Alandria is talking about the fact that just one example, just one small example in the sea of anti-black hate that she's been getting as a result of Huda's actions, as a result of Huda's behavior. Alandria says, "Oh, well, there was a picture of my face being superimposed on George Floyd as he was dying, and the other part of that is that Huda's face was superimposed on the murderer of George Floyd." Yes. And Huda immediately starts, "Oh my God, I didn't know, I don't know." If you missed it, Go back and watch it. Olandria says, I showed it to you at the airport. But Huda keeps talking. She keeps talking. And then in her just yapping, not listening, she goes, oh, well, I was getting racism too. Oh, well, I didn't have enough time to make a post about addressing the bull. And she keeps talking about the bullying. And I think it's very important to talk about why she keeps referring to it as bullying and not anti-black hate or not racism. She only refers to it as bullying, because if she can refer to it as bullying and then other people just accept it as simply bullying, yes, bullying is a big thing, right? But racism, anti-black racism, is a completely different monster. But she keeps referring to it as bullying because she feels like she is also under the umbrella of bullying. She does not bring up racism. She does not bring up any of that until Olandria brings it up, until Shelly and Olandria bring it up. So that way she can say, oh no, but I'm under that umbrella too. I'm a victim too. The way that she is the perpetual victim of a story that nobody is buying. And she is okay with throwing Olandria under the bus. She's okay with throwing Shelly under the bus. She's okay with throwing Chris under the bus, because none of them matter in the story that is the victimhood of Huda, other than the fact that she can superimpose them as black bodies to be like, oh, they're the big bad.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's, okay. Let me start off by saying I feel like it's weird that people are trying to make this movie black people's problem. I just feel like this movie has nothing to do with black people, so like it's not a black cast, it's not a black director, there are like no black people in the movie. Like the whole point of the movie is like Asians, right? That it's about like Asians and like Asian representation and stuff. Like that's, I just feel like that's not my problem. It's not my movie. I don't care. It's weird to me, again, that people are trying to make this like a black people thing. Like, as if black people have to support it. I filmed a video literally months ago that I just never got around to posting, that I am gonna have to post, that was called Black and POC Are Not Fucking Synonyms. People are really running with this people of color, women of color shit, like as if we are all the same, and we're not the same, we're different. Like, I'm getting really tired of these fucking umbrella terms that people are using, especially considering there's like so much anti-black sentiment and anti-black racism in the fucking Asian community, in the East Asian community, in the South Asian community, like that nobody wants to talk about and that nobody wants to address. But then when it comes time for a fucking movie to come out, it's like, oh, niggers rally around us, and this is your black responsibility and your black problem. It's not my black responsibility, nor is it my black problem. Deal with your anti-black racism in your own Asian communities before you ask black people to do anything for you, especially considering that there is a fucking blackface ass character in this fucking movie. Like, and everybody knows that Asians love to culturally appropriate black American.
Today, I want to talk about the piggy face. So, some things have come full circle for me in ways I never would have expected, because like growing up, I've said this multiple times, but I don't think even I understood the, how do I say it? Like it's not just cultural. It's like ethnic and historical context of the jokes. Now, we're going to bring this all the way back around. So I saw that the brown skin Exotical put out a video today, and I guess it is a response video to the Love Island reunion special that came out last night. Now, for some reason, while I'm at the gym, they have some of the Love Island episodes playing, and so I know who Huda is. And now, when they're playing on the TV, it's actually not even sound, it's just images. So I haven't actually listened to any of the audio playing on the show. I just saw the images of the girl, because it'll put like the girl on the screen and it'll say her name on the bottom. I didn't need to hear this girl say anything. I already knew immediately. I saw her face. Her face gave it all away. She's a little Miss Piggy. So the brown skin exotical, actually, she doesn't use those terms, but I'm going to break down why I use those terms. And I actually talked about this before, but I think you guys might have missed it. So yesterday I posted a photograph of Tyla and Ice Spice. I think it was at like the Nickelodeon Awards or some shit, and Tyla is basically drawing Ice Spice, and it's supposed to be this like really friendly event, right? And I saw that, and the only thing I could think of is like, wow, Tyla is out here doing community service, because there is no world in which like Tyla Tyla's beautiful and whatever the fuck Ice Spice is are even similar. Those are like different universes, because Ice Spice is a little Miss Piggy. Now, we've unpacked Ice Spice on this channel before, but remember how she made that video and that song that was like, the boy's a liar, the boy's a liar. I talked about that before, and I think y'all don't understand what I'm saying. Like, to the women like Ruda and Ice Spice, men say to their face, they'll be like, bitch, you are ugly, like you are foul, like you're ridiculous. They'll tell them how they feel about them, basically. Now, Ice Spice's song, that song in particular, was her explaining how many men have said that to her. I'm very confused why people did not hear that and then believe what she was telling you. If like the men are not lying to you, girl, like they were being serious. And like that's the other thing too. I feel like sometimes when black women call this out, they'll be like, oh, she's just hating because she's black. No, like men said this to you. Whatever men are in your life said this shit to you, and there wasn't a black woman even near. And it wasn't just one person, it was like multiple men said this to you, because like multiple men feel this way. I don't know. Let's bring this back though to what the brown skin exotical says, and then to what Ruda says. Sorry, I've got like my exercise stuff over there. Okay. So basically, let's explain what the piggy nose is, I guess. Piggy nose is like, it is a connotation or a reference to a white person who eats pork, but even more than that, it's almost like a redneck. It's almost like a social indicator of a pork eating person with a spread nose. And especially in like the Black Muslim community, this is why they don't eat pork. Now, growing up, I also was not allowed to eat pork, but I didn't grow up Muslim. I grew up Buddhist, but I do think a lot of that came from who I was around and the men in power around me, and the social like behaviors that were tolerated and those that were not. Now, I'm not positive about this, and I feel like maybe 19 Keys he's made a video about this or will talk about it, but there are very particular reasons why Muslims don't eat pork. There's something about the pig, like the pig is the dirtiest animal around, because like pigs will eat their own shit. Pigs will like eat their own like dead. They will eat each other. They will literally tolerate anything. They have like no standards. I think that specifically is why Muslims don't eat pork. So referring to a girl as a pig is like saying that she has no standards, and some even to go further than that, because I do think there's some individuality here. Like, let's say you have a piggy nose, but maybe that actually is like you do have standards or morals or something because you call yourself a Christian. Let's just give that particular reference, because a lot of people like to do that. Okay. But there are social indicators of past behavior. And so when we're talking about genetic markers, having a Miss Piggy nose is a ethnic and social indicator that you or your family members or your parents have participated in piggy behavior. At least that's the way I was taught. And maybe that's like a super racist way of like breaking down pig eating people, but I mean, I I've got to say, in life, I have seen that play out to be true. And let's actually dive into the points though that the brown skin exotical said. So she was basically making a point to how non-black or exotical, like people who are mixed with black, would count as black. So she's saying people who are not that, so they're like literally something else. Those women who tend to be, it is very strange, they will be attracted to black men, but they will not like black women, and they will be very confused about why black men would like black women in any way. And so she, in this video, she describes how on multiple occasions those women have started to befriend her and try to be in community with her, even though they don't like her, because they wanted to understand why black men like her. And so they tried to just understand all of her characteristics and all these traits about her so that they could embody those traits and thus get closer to the men that they like. So it's like, you're a pretty black girl, and that's a thing too, that I think there's like levels to this. So if you're a pretty girl of any race, you're going to have pretty privilege. But if you are a pretty black girl, there's a lot of black men who are successful, right? Like those black men are going to like you because you're pretty, and like men like pretty women. And also, like, it's a very natural thing to be attracted to someone of your race. That's why when black men are coming out here over and over again saying like being black and then saying we don't like black women, they're talking about something that's like they're going against their own like biology, because like biologically, and I feel like Farrakhan said this and he's completely right. I thought when he said it, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I agree with that, and some time has gone on and I actually agree with it heavily. He was literally saying that for men, when men are looking for their partners, they need to find someone not only of the same race, but of the same hue. Like, you need to find somebody who's literally in your, like who's the same skin color as you, who's from the same group as you. Especially when he was giving advice to black men on how to choose a wife. Because that means that she is of your, like, in terms of like your lineage and your history, you guys have similar histories, and that's important in terms of like evolution and in terms of procreation. And I heard him say that before, and I was like, oh, I think a dark skinned person and a light skinned person, for instance, could and should definitely marry. And now as I've gone on, I've started to learn like a lot of dark skinned men who marry light skinned women, sometimes they're not actually doing it because they like the light skinned woman. They simply want to be more close to someone who they believe has more privilege than they have. So it has nothing to do with attractiveness. It has things to do with social climbing. And I think that that's strange, because you're putting your own biology and sacrificing your own lineage for social climbing. And then because you are doing that, you are like taking away the opportunity from someone from your own hue, from your own group, to have the benefits and privileges that you would provide as their spouse. So that's just something I've learned over time. And another reason I would like to do pretty much all of my work in Ethiopia for people who literally are just like me. That is where that comes from. But I've said that before. And so let's go back though, because there's something really wrong with these women, the non-white women of color who, and then here's another thing too, and I feel like I've talked about this before. This is actually why I made the video about attractive white women. I think attractive white women and attractive black women are having the same issues, because like if men who are attracted to either of those groups have preferences. Like there are men who like the super black baddie, or the exotical baddie, like that is that man's type. Like he doesn't like anything else. The men who like the like super pretty, like Slavic looking white women, like they like that's their type. But I do think that the men on both of those sides can appreciate the beauty coming from the other side without sacrificing it themselves. Whereas I see something strange happening everywhere in the middle where people don't know how to like have a preference. And I see this like this is so controversial, but this is where we have to introduce this idea of the sand nigger. The sand nigger are basically all the like the Indian people, the Saudi Arabian people, they're like yellow people who are not white. They're not black either. It's like it's a term. What I can't remember who introduced that term to me, but it is a derogatory term. But it has a frame of reference, right? So the term basically comes from this idea of these people who've been colonized or like had their resources exploited in some way. And so they aren't like dominating society in the way that like white people are, but they are also not black people. So the term to basically describe them, I mean, it is derogatory, but it's also kind of descriptive, is the sand nigger. So they just live in places that are like desert, so like no water sources, so they've had to create something in this land that kind of like no one else wants. There's other things I do want to like bring into the forefront here, like this idea of tanning and then this idea of being of the land. So the notes that I took on this, I wanted to talk about Pinocchio and I want to talk about Avatar. Moana will save Moana but I think Moana is kind of interesting and an interesting case as well. So Pinocchio, if you aren't familiar with that story, it's a story about a little doll, and every time the doll lies, his nose grows. So the longer the nose, the more the liar. Now, in this video that just came out on attractiveness, someone pointed out the Roman nose, and they were like, what does it mean if you have the Roman nose? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen the Roman nose. I know what that is. It's just a symbol of colonialism. And it usually doesn't apply to people who are actually European. It typically applies to people who are not European, but they've been colonized by Europeans. So like, let's say that this kind of goes, it's pretty historical, but like, obviously like India was colonized by Brits. So some people might wonder, like where so many aspects of Indian culture literally just come from British people being like, we own you, bitch. Like, you are ours now. Like, taking their women, having their way with their women. And now your whole bloodline, you're just like second tier British people, basically. But you're not British. They're just Indian. And India has its own shit. But when you're talking about that, the Roman nose, right? That's kind of where that comes from. Like, they just took your women. So that I don't know if that's a marker of pride. I don't know if I'd be wearing that around and be like shitting on somebody else when that legitimately comes from rape. Anyway, and then let's talk about Avatar. So Avatar is this idea of being from the land. The whole point is like the Na'vi people are from the land, they're of the land, and then these like robot humans want to like take the land and turn it into this like super mega ecosystem and take all the shit and use it for industrial production. It's kind of like Wakanda, the story there, it's colonialism and imperialism just in movie form. But the people are of the land, so they look a particular way because they treat the land in a particular way and they inhabit and function with the land in particular ways. I think that this is important also to realize when thinking about like what European people are. So European people traditionally are cave people and they have less melanin in their skin because they are from northern cold parts of the world, like Iceland or places where there is not much summer and sun. Traditionally, that is where they are from, but obviously they migrated other places. But when we're talking about things like skin cancer, like sun, it is summer right now. And honestly, more pale people should not be outside because they are prone to death. Like the sun can and will kill them without sunblock. That's why skin cancer is on the rise. And that's not like shade, but like if you've noticed, every time continental Africans come over here, they start talking about summer and the weather. Or if you talk about other people from a lot of the states, like people love to live in California, even though they were not born to live in California. This is why it's kind of important to understand when people are talking about what Native Americans are, or, you know, like kind of the Native American blood for the California soil, like that has to do with pigmentation, skin color, and sun. The red people painted on every wall all over California and every tribe, the Navajos, the Ohlone, you know, the actual Native Americans to the land, they look a particular way because um evolution caused them to adapt to that location for a reason, right? Like they can sit in the sun and soak up the pigments and the lights and the beach and the water. Those are things there for a reason. European Slavic people are not built for that. They are supposed to be in cold Iceland in caves. Like that is literally where they're from. That is why their skin looks like that. And it is very strange because, like, as I walk around California currently, and I'm seeing so many white people tanning, and they have all these like tanning lotions and all this shit, and you're like, that isn't your skin color. It's very strange to see them. I don't know, just continue to like walk around attempting to be something that they are not as well. But I don't know what I wanted to just bring that up, introduce the concept of the Little Miss Piggy nose, because it is a thing, and I do think that there are a lot of people who are unfamiliar with it. So I just wanted to introduce the concept if you've never heard of it and just let you know that it exists. Cool.